Every person you meet is a mirror showing you your own soul. The love you give, the hate you hide, the wounds you deny, all reflected back to you in human form. The world you see is not a window through which you observe objective reality. It is a mirror reflecting your inner landscape. Every judgment, every opinion, every reaction you have toward life is filtered through the lens of who you are. What you call reality is not the thing itself, but your interpretation of it, shaped by your beliefs, your wounds, your hopes, and your fears. You never truly meet the world as it is, you meet it as you are. When you walk into a room, you don't just see walls and people. You see meaning. You see stories that your mind instantly begins to weave. If someone doesn't smile at you, your heart may interpret it as rejection, even though it might simply be their tiredness. If someone praises another, you might feel unnoticed, not because they intended to ignore you, but because somewhere within you still exists a wound that whispers you're not enough. The outer world, in this way, becomes a projection screen for the unspoken stories inside you. The world mirrors your consciousness back to you in infinite forms. When you are at peace, even chaos appears calm. When you are in turmoil, even stillness feels hostile. Your inner state colors the world with shades of your own emotion. Two people can walk the same street. One sees beauty, another sees decay. The difference is not in the street, but in the eyes that look upon it. You think you are reacting to the world, but in truth, you are interacting with yourself through the world. Every experience you attract, every person you meet, and every emotion that rises within you serves as feedback from the mirror of existence. The external world becomes a dialogue between your conscious and unconscious mind, between what you know about yourself and what you have yet to realize. If the world feels cold, perhaps your heart has closed. If the world feels hostile, perhaps your mind is filled with suspicion. If everyone seems selfish, perhaps it is your own unhealed resentment that is being reflected back. The mirror never lies, it only shows what stands before it. But most people do not look long enough to see themselves in it. They rush to wipe the mirror clean, blaming others for the dirt that is their own. The truth is uncomfortable because it demands radical responsibility. It means that no one is truly to blame for how you feel. Not the stranger who cut you off in traffic, not the friend who forgot your birthday, not the world that sometimes feels unfair. These moments simply reveal the parts of yourself that are waiting to be seen. Life shows you your inner world in the language of events. The mirror doesn't judge, it only reflects. When you shift your inner world, the reflection changes effortlessly. You do not need to fight the image in the mirror to alter your appearance. You change yourself, and the reflection naturally follows. The same law applies to life. If you wish for kindness, become kind. If you long for understanding, begin to listen. If you crave peace, stop waging war within. The outer transformation always begins inwardly, though most spend their lives trying to polish the mirror instead of cleansing the face that looks into it. The mirror of the world becomes most clear when you stop blaming and start observing. Instead of asking, "Why are people like this?" you begin to ask, "What in me is being reflected right now?" This single question changes the entire structure of perception. It shifts you from victimhood to awareness, from reactivity to reflection. The world ceases to be an enemy and becomes a teacher. The mirror shows your light as much as your shadow. When you meet someone who inspires you, it is not just their greatness you admire, it is your own potential being mirrored back. You could not recognize beauty if it did not already exist in you. You could not recognize courage, kindness, or brilliance unless some spark of it lived in your own heart. The admiration you feel is not an accident. It is your soul reminding you of who you are. And when you encounter cruelty or arrogance, that too is a mirror, not necessarily of the same behavior, but of the feelings those traits awaken in you. The anger that surfaces may point toward your own boundaries or your forgotten strength. The sadness that emerges may reveal an old story of betrayal still lingering inside. Every reflection, no matter how painful, has a message waiting to be understood. The more conscious you become, the clearer the mirror grows. You begin to notice that people no longer irritate you the same way. Situations that once triggered you now invite curiosity instead of judgment. You start to see that life is not happening against you but for you, designed perfectly to help you meet yourself through others. The outer world becomes an endless field of mirrors, each one showing a fragment of your own evolution. This understanding does not mean you must tolerate mistreatment or deny the reality of others' actions. It simply means you recognize that your perception is never neutral. The meaning you assign to what happens reveals your state of mind more than the event itself. You learn to separate what occurred from what you felt about what occurred. That distinction opens a doorway to freedom. Once you realize the world is a mirror, you stop demanding it to change. You turn inward, not in self-blame, but in curiosity. You begin to ask, what is this moment teaching me about myself? What quality is life trying to awaken within me right now? Each reflection becomes a guidepost leading you closer to authenticity. The mirror does not always show what you want to see, but it always shows what you need to see. The anger, the joy, the jealousy, the peace, all are fragments of the same whole trying to find balance within you. You are both the observer and the reflection, the painter and the painting. The more you polish the mirror of your awareness, the more clearly you see that there was never a separation between the inner and the outer, between self and world, between you and life itself. Projection is unconscious self-revelation. It is the mind's way of showing you who you are without your conscious permission. The traits you admire or hate in others are rarely about them. They are fragments of yourself that you have either disowned or suppressed. Every emotion you direct outward, admiration, envy, anger, love, resentment, is a reflection of something within you seeking recognition. The outer world becomes the canvas on which your inner world paints its hidden truths. You may believe you are seeing others clearly, but what you actually see is your own mind projected onto them. The person who frustrates you, the one who inspires you, the one who triggers deep jealousy. Each of them acts as a mirror for the parts of yourself that live in shadow or light. When you say, "I can't stand how arrogant they are," it might be your own buried pride calling for awareness. When you say, "I wish I could be as confident as they are," you're recognizing an aspect of yourself that has been locked away, waiting for permission to emerge. Projection is not a flaw of perception. It is a clue to self-understanding. It reveals what your conscious mind refuses to claim. The things you condemn in others are often the things you secretly fear exist in you. The qualities you praise are those you long to embody. Through projection, life becomes an ongoing psychological dialogue between the parts of yourself you've accepted and those you've rejected. You may think you know yourself, but the self is layered, and the conscious part is only the surface. Beneath it lies the unconscious, holding everything you've repressed, denied, or forgotten. Every time you say, "I would never be like that," the unconscious smiles, because it knows that rejection is the very reason projection exists. What you deny in yourself must find expression somewhere, and the easiest place for it to appear is in your perception of others. When you encounter someone who provokes a strong reaction in you, whether admiration or hatred, that emotion is a message. It's your unconscious trying to tell you something about yourself. The anger that rises when someone brags might not be about them at all. It could be your own unexpressed desire to be recognized. The discomfort you feel around someone's vulnerability might be your own fear of being seen as weak. The attraction you feel towards someone's passion may be your own buried aliveness trying to reach the surface. Projection makes relationships both beautiful and painful. We fall in love not with people as they are, but with what they awaken in us. We fall into conflict not because of who they are, but because they reflect the parts we've tried to hide. Every bond, every fight, every heartbreak becomes a mirror for our inner divisions. The person you love deeply often mirrors your light. The person you can't stand mirrors your shadow. Both are essential to knowing who you truly are. You can see this in simple, everyday ways. When you criticize someone for being lazy, look closer. Are you suppressing your own need for rest? When you resent someone's freedom, could it be that you've caged your own desires? When you judge someone's ambition, are you secretly afraid of your own power? The mind uses projection to keep the self-image intact, to protect you from confronting uncomfortable truths. It's easier to point the finger outward than to turn the gaze inward. But the real growth begins when you stop believing the stories your mind tells about others and start asking, what is this revealing about me? Each time you feel a strong reaction, pause and look inward. The irritation, the jealousy, the admiration, these are not random emotions. They are invitations to reclaim pieces of yourself you've abandoned. The people who trigger you most are often your greatest teachers, because they show you where your unconscious is still operating without awareness. Projection is the bridge between the known and the unknown self. It gives form to the invisible. The unconscious cannot speak in words, so it speaks through images and emotions projected onto the world around you. The person who annoys you is not an accident, they are a message. The person who fascinates you is not coincidence, they are a symbol of your hidden potential. Through others, you meet yourself again and again, in disguise. The tragedy is that most people never realize this. They spend their lives blaming others for the very qualities they refuse to acknowledge within. They fight their own reflection, trying to fix or change what exists outside, unaware that the source lies within. Every judgment becomes a missed opportunity for awareness. Every conflict becomes a rehearsal of the same inner war. Until you recognize projection, you remain trapped in an illusion. The illusion that your suffering comes from others, rather than from your own disowned self. To work with projection is to walk the path of integration. It means facing the parts of yourself you've labeled as unworthy, shameful, or unacceptable. When you stop running from these parts and begin to see them as aspects of your humanity, something shifts. You begin to understand that every quality, whether light or dark, has its purpose. Anger can become strength. Envy can become inspiration. Fear can become awareness. When integrated, even your shadows serve your wholeness. The more you reclaim your projections, the more peace you find in relationships. People stop being mirrors of conflict and become mirrors of connection. You no longer need others to carry your denied emotions. You stop demanding perfection from them because you've accepted imperfection within yourself. The outer world becomes softer because your inner world has become more compassionate. Projection reveals the truth that you are not separate from what you perceive. The qualities you notice in others exist in you. Otherwise, you would not recognize them. The mind can only see what it already knows. When you meet someone brave, it's because bravery lives in you. When you meet someone deceitful, it's because you understand deceit. Every human encounter becomes a reflection of your own nature, a dialogue between your conscious identity and your hidden depths. You think you are discovering others, but you are always discovering yourself. Every admiration is a memory of your light. Every resentment is an echo of your shadow. The outer world is not a stage of strangers but a field of mirrors where your unconscious dances in countless forms. And every face you meet, every emotion you feel, every story you live is guiding you toward the one realization your soul has been waiting for. That the self you search for has always been reflected in the eyes of others. Every strong emotional reaction, irritation, jealousy, attraction, is an inner message disguised as an outer event. The emotions that rise within you are not accidents. They are signals from the unconscious, trying to tell you something about yourself. What you feel toward others is not always about them, but about the unacknowledged parts of you that their presence awakens. Your reactions are revelations, reflections of your inner world projected onto the stage of life. When you feel irritation toward someone, it's not merely because of their behavior. The emotion comes because something inside you has been touched. A nerve, a memory, a belief. The person who irritates you is only the trigger. The real cause lies within. The reaction points to an area of your psyche that still holds tension, something unresolved or unaccepted. In that moment of irritation, the unconscious becomes visible. The emotion is not your enemy, it is your guide, revealing what still needs understanding. Jealousy works the same way. It is not a sign of weakness but of disconnection. When you envy someone, you are not truly angry at their success or beauty or happiness. You are mourning the parts of yourself you've abandoned. The person you envy becomes a symbol of your own unlived potential. They show you what you secretly believe you cannot have or do. The pain of jealousy is not punishment. It is longing wearing a mask. If you look deeper, jealousy can become inspiration, reminding you of what still wants to awaken within you. Attraction, too, is a form of revelation. When you feel drawn to someone, it is not only about physical or emotional chemistry. Attraction reveals qualities in them that your soul recognizes as missing or suppressed in yourself. You are magnetized to your own hidden energy reflected in another form. Sometimes you fall for people who embody your unlived courage, your forgotten joy, or your buried freedom. The pull you feel is not toward them, but toward the version of yourself you glimpse through them. Every reaction, whether pleasant or painful, is a mirror. The outer event is the surface, the emotion is the doorway. But most people never walk through it. They stay trapped in the story, blaming others for making them angry, jealous, or sad, without realizing that these emotions are self-created reflections. You think the world is pushing your buttons, but it's your own wiring that makes those buttons exist. Life simply touches them to help you see where healing is needed. When you start to observe your reactions instead of defending them, a deeper awareness unfolds. You begin to notice patterns. The same kind of person always annoys you. The same situation always triggers fear. The same compliment always makes you uncomfortable. These patterns are not coincidences. They are repetitions of an inner theme waiting to be understood. Life keeps repeating the lesson until you recognize it. The emotions are not random storms. They are the language of your unconscious mind. Irritation may reveal your need for boundaries or your fear of losing control. Jealousy may reveal your hidden sense of inadequacy or your longing for self-expression. Attraction may reveal your hunger for integration, your desire to become whole by reclaiming what you've projected onto others. The outer world acts as a living feedback system, constantly showing you where your inner work lies. Every emotional charge is a signpost pointing inward. But instead of listening, most people react automatically. They suppress the emotion, justify it, or blame it on someone else. They miss the message because they are too caught in the story. The mind says, "I'm angry because they disrespected me." while the soul whispers, "You're angry because you still carry the wound of not being valued." The mind says, "I'm jealous because they have what I don't," while the soul whispers, "You've forgotten that you have the power to create your own version of that joy." The reaction becomes a teacher, but only if you are willing to learn. To decode your emotions, you must become an observer of your own inner world. Instead of asking, "Why did they make me feel this way?" ask, "What part of me is reacting?" When you do this, you shift from unconscious reaction to conscious reflection. You stop fighting the emotion and start listening to it. The feeling itself becomes the doorway to deeper self-awareness. Emotional reactions are like alarm bells ringing in the psyche. They do not ring to punish you, but to wake you. Every surge of anger, every pang of jealousy, every wave of desire is an opportunity to discover a part of yourself you've ignored. When you suppress emotions, you silence the messages. When you listen, you evolve. The key is not to avoid emotional triggers, but to use them as mirrors of your inner truth. When you start living with this awareness, relationships become your greatest teachers. The people who trigger you most reveal the places where you are not yet free. The ones who calm you reflect your inner peace. Every argument becomes a mirror of your self-dialogue. Every attraction becomes a reminder of what you wish to integrate. Life turns from a battlefield of reactions into a classroom of self-realization. The deeper you go, the more you see that emotions are neither good nor bad. They are energy, information from the soul. Anger can show you where your boundaries are being crossed. Sadness can show you what still needs to be released. Fear can show you where faith has not yet been cultivated. Even joy and love reveal what is already healed within you. Each emotion has meaning when viewed through the lens of awareness. When you take ownership of your reactions, you reclaim your power. No one can make you feel anything without your inner agreement. The world can act as it will, but your emotional state becomes your own responsibility. This doesn't mean you suppress your feelings or pretend they don't exist. It means you meet them with curiosity instead of resistance. You begin to see that emotions are not interruptions to life. They are life speaking directly to you. Every reaction is an unveiling. The more conscious you become of your inner triggers, the less control they have over you. You begin to respond instead of react. You notice the emotion rising, but instead of being consumed by it, you trace it back to its source. You begin to understand that the situation did not create the feeling, it only awakened it. The emotion was already there, waiting to be seen. And as you grow in awareness, even the most painful emotions start to feel sacred. You realize that behind every surge of discomfort lies a message from the deeper self. The outer world merely plays its role in helping you uncover it. Every reaction, every trigger, every spark of emotion becomes an invitation to see what you have not yet seen within yourself, to integrate what has long been forgotten, and to awaken to the truth that the world outside is only the stage upon which your hidden self comes to light. The people you resent are your greatest teachers. The ones who trigger you most aren't your enemies, they're mirrors pointing toward your unhealed wounds. Every person who awakens anger, pain, or bitterness within you is performing a sacred function. They are showing you the parts of yourself that still need attention, compassion, and understanding. You may believe that resentment is caused by what others have done to you, but beneath the surface, it is a reflection of the wounds you have not yet made peace with. Resentment is the emotion that clings to pain long after the event has passed. It lives in the body like a weight, whispering the same story again and again. They hurt me, they betrayed me, they don't deserve forgiveness. But what it truly says is, I have not yet healed from what their presence revealed in me. The people you resent are not just reminders of your suffering, they are reflections of your own unfinished healing. When someone triggers a deep emotional response, it is because they've touched an inner wound that already existed. Their behavior may have exposed a sense of rejection, inadequacy, or powerlessness that you've carried for years. You might not remember when it began. Perhaps childhood moments when you were overlooked, misunderstood, or unloved in the way you needed. These wounds sink into the unconscious, shaping your perception of others. Then, when someone acts in a way that resonates with that old pain, the past resurfaces. You think you are reacting to them, but you are reacting to your history through them. That is why resentment feels so heavy. It's not just about the present moment. It carries the emotional weight of every similar experience you've ever had. The person you resent becomes a symbol of all those buried emotions. You project your unhealed pain onto them, believing they are the cause of your suffering, when in truth they are only the mirror revealing it. The mind resists this truth because it prefers blame over reflection. It is easier to declare, "They are the problem," than to face the vulnerable question, "What part of me still hurts?" But every time you choose blame, you hand your power away. As long as you believe that peace depends on someone else's behavior, you remain chained to them emotionally. Healing begins when you stop demanding that others change and begin to explore why their actions have so much power over you. The people you resent become the keys to your freedom. The anger you feel toward them is not an obstacle to avoid. It is a doorway into deeper understanding. If you look beneath the surface of resentment, you will find sadness, fear, or shame, emotions that have been waiting to be acknowledged. When you feel resentment rising, pause and ask, "What is this trying to show me about myself?" That simple question turns pain into awareness. The trigger becomes a teacher. Perhaps the person who dismissed you mirrors the part of you that still feels unseen. Perhaps the one who betrayed your trust reveals your fear of abandonment. Perhaps the one who criticizes you reflects your own harsh inner judge. Each relationship becomes a mirror through which your inner world is revealed. The stronger the emotional reaction, the closer you are to something important that needs healing. Resentment often hides beneath righteousness. You convince yourself that you have every reason to be angry, and perhaps you do. But the point is not about right or wrong, it's about liberation. Holding resentment may feel like protection, but it is actually imprisonment. It keeps you bound to the very energy that hurt you. To release resentment is not to excuse others' actions, it is to reclaim your peace from their grip. Forgiveness, in this sense, is not about them, it's about you. When you begin to view resentment as a mirror, your perception shifts. The person who once seemed like your enemy becomes an unwilling teacher of your inner truth. You start to see that they entered your life not by accident, but as part of your evolution. Their presence forced you to confront emotions you would otherwise keep buried. Without their trigger, you might never have discovered that wound. What once felt like betrayal now becomes revelation. Every person you resent carries a message from your unconscious. The more resistance you feel, the deeper the message runs. That's why some people barely affect you, while others shake your entire foundation. The intensity of your reaction reveals the magnitude of what lies unresolved. Your emotions are not random. They are precision instruments guiding you toward self-knowledge. The more you listen to them, the freer you become. To learn from resentment, you must bring awareness to it without judgment. Observe it as you would observe a reflection in water. Notice how your body tenses, how your thoughts loop, how your heart tightens. This awareness alone begins to dissolve its power. Resentment thrives in unconsciousness. It weakens in the light of observation. When you can feel anger without becoming it, the mirror begins to clear. You no longer see the world through your wound. You see the wound through your awareness. It is through this process that healing begins. You start to recognize that every person who hurt you also revealed a part of yourself that was still fragile. Their behavior may not have been just or kind, but it served a hidden purpose to show you where your love for yourself was still incomplete. The lesson of resentment is always self-knowledge. The outer conflict points to the inner imbalance. In time, you begin to thank the very people you once cursed. Not because what they did was right, but because they awakened you. They forced you to grow beyond the limits of your old identity. They taught you strength, boundaries, empathy, or detachment. Without their reflection, you might have remained asleep to your own depth. What once felt like pain becomes clarity. What once felt like loss becomes liberation. The truth is that every relationship, no matter how painful, serves the evolution of your consciousness. The people you resent the most are the ones who unknowingly help you reclaim the parts of yourself you've lost. They draw out your shadows so that you can finally see them, and in seeing them, you begin to heal. Resentment, when seen with awareness, becomes revelation. A mirror through which your hidden self is finally brought to light. Wholeness begins with reflection, not judgment. True growth comes when you stop blaming others for reflecting what you refuse to see. Life continuously mirrors your inner world through people, situations, and emotions, not to punish you, but to awaken you. Every judgment you cast outward is a signpost pointing inward, revealing something about yourself that longs to be acknowledged. The more you judge, the more you stay blind to what life is trying to teach you. Reflection is the art of seeing yourself in everything. Judgment is the habit of separating yourself from what you see. One keeps you stuck, the other sets you free. When you live through judgment, the world appears divided, good and bad, right and wrong, worthy and unworthy. You think you understand people, but you only categorize them. Judgment closes the heart and narrows perception. It turns your inner mirror into a wall. Every time you judge another person, you are refusing to see a truth about yourself. The harshness you feel toward others is often the same harshness you carry within. What you condemn in them might be the very quality you cannot accept in yourself. Reflection, on the other hand, opens the door to wholeness. It does not mean excusing behavior or denying boundaries. It means asking a deeper question. What is this showing me about me? Instead of reacting from blame, you respond with curiosity. You begin to see that the world is not attacking you. It is revealing you. The people who challenge you, the emotions that unsettle you, the situations that frustrate you, all of them are mirrors designed to make you conscious of the hidden patterns that shape your life. Judgment separates you from your own shadow. Reflection integrates it. When you judge, you project your denied qualities onto others, labeling them as the problem. But what you reject externally continues to live internally, gaining more power over you. The things you cannot stand in others are often the parts of yourself you've disowned. The moment you stop blaming and start reflecting, you begin to reclaim your wholeness. You start seeing that every trait, even the ones you dislike, has a place within the totality of who you are. Blame is the mind's way of avoiding responsibility. It says, "They made me feel this way," or "They are the reason I suffer." But reflection says, "This situation is showing me something about myself that I need to understand." The difference is enormous. Blame freezes your growth, reflection expands it. Blame keeps the focus on others, reflection turns the gaze inward. Blame reinforces the illusion of separation. Reflection reminds you that life is a mirror of your consciousness. True growth begins when you recognize that others can only trigger what already exists in you. The anger, jealousy, and hurt that arise are not new emotions, they are old wounds being touched. You may not have caused the pain, but the reaction belongs to you. The moment you see this, judgment loses its grip. You stop demanding that the world stop triggering you, and instead you begin to use those triggers as tools for awareness. Every person who irritates you becomes a teacher in disguise. Every conflict becomes an opportunity to know yourself more deeply. The practice of reflection requires humility. It asks you to question your certainty, to step out of your story and into awareness. It asks you to see that the qualities you despise in others are often the same ones you secretly carry or fear. You cannot recognize arrogance, deceit, or insecurity unless you have known them in some form within yourself. The mirror of life never lies. It simply reflects the aspects of consciousness you have yet to integrate. When you start reflecting instead of judging, you begin to see that even your most painful experiences serve a higher purpose. They are invitations to heal. Judgment may feel powerful in the moment, but it is rooted in fear. It protects the ego by keeping the illusion of superiority alive. When you judge, you feel momentarily safe, as if distancing yourself from others will make you pure. But purity is not wholeness. Wholeness comes from embracing your contradictions, from seeing that light and shadow are not enemies but partners in growth. Reflection teaches you that nothing within you needs to be rejected. Everything needs to be understood. When you reflect, compassion naturally arises. You stop labeling people as good or bad and begin to see them as reflections of human complexity. You understand that everyone acts from their level of awareness, just as you do. The person who lies, the one who betrays, the one who disappoints, they all become mirrors of your own unhealed places. Through them you learn patience, forgiveness, and strength. Through them, you learn what it means to love without illusion. Reflection transforms pain into wisdom because it shifts your focus from blame to meaning. In reflection, even suffering becomes sacred. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every betrayal carries within it a message. See what still hurts. See what still fears. See what still hides. Judgment wants to protect you from feeling that pain. Reflection invites you to face it and free it. When you reflect on your experiences instead of condemning them, you begin to see patterns that repeat. The same types of people, the same lessons, the same emotions. Life is not punishing you with repetition, it is offering you another chance to awaken. The more you reflect, the more you realize that you've been living in a hall of mirrors. Everyone you meet is reflecting something back. Your love, your fear, your anger, your longing. Every relationship becomes a reflection of your inner state. The person who listens deeply reflects your self-acceptance. The one who ignores you reflects your fear of invisibility. The one who challenges you reflects your need for boundaries. The mirror is never against you. It simply shows you what you need to see to grow. To live in reflection is to live consciously. It means understanding that life does not happen to you. It happens through you. The events, people, and emotions you experience are shaped by your own consciousness. When you change within, the reflection changes without effort. This is not metaphysical poetry. It is psychological truth. The world you see is filtered through the state of your mind. When you judge, you reinforce division. When you reflect, you cultivate unity. Wholeness does not mean becoming perfect, it means becoming real. It means owning every part of yourself. The kind and the cruel, the generous and the selfish, the confident and the afraid. Reflection allows you to see all of it without condemnation. It turns the mirror of life into a tool for awakening. You begin to realize that there is no enemy outside of you. There are only reflections waiting to be understood. And every time you choose reflection over judgment, you move one step closer to remembering that everything you see in others has always been a part of you. Loving others is learning to love yourself. The more you accept your own light and shadow, the less you project, and the more authentic your relationships become. Most people believe love begins with finding the right person, but true love begins with seeing yourself clearly. Until you embrace who you are, fully, honestly, without pretense, you will keep searching for someone else to fill the spaces within you that you have not yet accepted. Every relationship you enter will mirror your relationship with yourself. The parts you love within will be reflected back as warmth and connection, and the parts you reject will return as conflict and pain. Love is not just an emotion, it's a state of awareness. To love another person deeply, you must first face the truth of who you are. If you reject your own flaws, you will unconsciously judge them in others. If you suppress your own needs, you will resent others for expressing theirs. If you fear your own vulnerability, you will distance yourself when someone gets too close. What you deny within becomes the barrier between you and intimacy. But when you begin to embrace all of yourself, the gentle and the fierce, the confident and the afraid, something extraordinary happens. You stop projecting your inner battles onto others and start relating to them from a place of wholeness. We often think love means finding someone who completes us. But love does not complete, it reflects. The people you are drawn to reveal the parts of you you're ready to acknowledge. The ones who frustrate you reveal the parts you still resist. The truth is, every person who enters your life plays a sacred role in your inner unfolding. Some come to mirror your beauty, others to mirror your wounds. The moment you see relationships this way, love stops being about control and starts being about growth. Every connection becomes an opportunity to know yourself more deeply. When you love from a wounded place, love becomes a battlefield. You seek validation instead of connection. You try to fix, change, or rescue others in hopes that they will do the same for you. You measure love by how much someone fulfills your unmet needs. But real love doesn't operate through need. It flows from self-acceptance. The more you make peace with your own imperfections, the less you depend on others to complete you. You begin to love freely, not because someone makes you feel whole, but because you already are. To love yourself is not arrogance, it's awareness. It's the recognition that you are both light and shadow, capable of kindness and cruelty, strength and weakness. Love begins when you stop dividing yourself into good and bad and start embracing your totality. When you hold yourself in compassion, even in your darkest moments, you stop demanding perfection from others. You understand that everyone is fighting their own unseen battles. You forgive more easily, you listen more deeply, and you judge less harshly, because you've learned to offer the same grace to yourself. The paradox of love is that you cannot give what you do not possess. You cannot truly love another if you have not learned to love yourself. Not in the surface sense of confidence or achievement, but in the deep, quiet acceptance of your humanity. When you hate your own flaws, you will unconsciously hate them in others. When you fear rejection, you will withhold parts of yourself to stay safe. But when you accept who you are, the raw, unfiltered, imperfect truth of your being, love becomes natural. You no longer seek it out of emptiness, but radiate it out of fullness. In self-acceptance, you dissolve projection. You stop blaming others for feelings that originate within. You recognize that the anger, jealousy, or disappointment you feel are not caused by others, but awakened by them. These emotions become mirrors, not punishments. They show you where love still struggles to reach. The more you face those reflections without judgment, the more open your heart becomes. Slowly, love stops being conditional. It stops being about how people treat you and starts being about how you relate to the truth within you. Authentic love is not blind to flaws, it sees them clearly and chooses compassion anyway. It does not demand perfection but invites honesty. When you love yourself, you no longer need others to mirror back your worth. You already know it. You no longer chase approval because you've made peace with your own reflection. From that place, relationships transform. You stop trying to mold others into your ideal and start loving them for who they are. You begin to see that every person you meet, partner, friend, or stranger, is another chance to practice acceptance. Many people fear self-love because they confuse it with selfishness, but true self-love is the opposite of ego. Ego demands, love allows; ego clings, love frees. Ego wants control, love trusts. When you love yourself authentically, you no longer need to dominate or be dominated. You can stand in your truth without needing others to agree with it. You can let people be who they are without feeling threatened. That is the essence of mature love. Freedom rooted in awareness. The deeper you go into self-acceptance, the more you see love everywhere. You start noticing how even painful relationships have shaped your growth. You realize that heartbreaks were not failures but awakenings. Every rejection pushed you closer to authenticity. Every disappointment revealed another layer of your inner truth. The people who hurt you the most often carried the deepest lessons. They showed you the parts of yourself you had abandoned. Your power, your boundaries, your self-worth. In that sense, love is never lost. It only changes form as you evolve. Love at its core is reflection. When you look at another person and truly see them, without projection, without expectation, you are seeing your own essence mirrored back. Every act of love you give is a recognition of what already exists within you. The more you accept your inner world, the more love flows outward. The separation between you and them begins to dissolve. You realize that love was never something to find, but something to remember. Loving others then becomes a journey of self-realization. Each relationship is a teacher, each emotion a message, each connection a mirror. You learn to meet others where they are. Because you've learned to meet yourself where you are, you stop chasing idealized versions of love and begin to live the real thing, raw, honest, imperfect, and alive. You no longer seek someone to complete you because you understand that love was never outside of you. It was within you all along, waiting for you to see it, accept it, and let it flow through everything you touch.